Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Media images influence relationships. I'm gonna tell you what, one of the things that people have to realize is how much our image of relationships or our thoughts of relationships are influenced by media images. Now let me go a little deep thought. There are three main things that influence our behavior. Three main things. And well, people on a deeper level, especially many metaphysicians, have realized this. Media is one, of course, and also religion, and also government regulations, laws that are really to get us to behave in certain manners. But media is probably the most powerful. People would say like religion, but actually media, because we see this. Understand something, when we see something on TV, in the movies, on social media, yeah, we might know it's some bullshit. We might know consciously, but subconsciously we take it as real. Even like in some of these superhero movies, so our subconscious will think, oh, people can fly. Consciously, you know it's some bull, but subconsciously we just take in everything and we do not discern it. When we see media images of people who look a certain way getting all the good relationships, that can mess us up. In fact, that's why there's such a big deal over looking a certain way. And if people say, well, why is it that way? Because of the media images. Because, okay, think about it in the media. You have the most physically attractive people, or at least the people made to look the most physically attractive, having the fun, having a good life and everything. In the real world, it's not so much. Not so much. Or they glorify certain images or something, or you get music videos, things of that nature. They glorify it, people following that. There's so many instances of people, like whole communities, changing how they interacting with each other based on the images presented in the media. Understand something, and I've talked about this on Deep Thought. Most of it's propaganda. Most of it is propaganda, to sell something. They'll say, hey, you have to look like this to get this, but there's always a product attached to it. But it's influencing relationships. When people say, well, I'll use one. I will use one powerful one, because there's always an argument, always get pushback. But this thing, oh, women always going for bad boys, right? And yeah, in the real world, yeah, they do. But that's just some women. If in the real world, women are dealing with guys who are law-abiding citizens, good guys in the real world. People may not believe that because somebody in the real world said, well, I'm having trouble. It's like, well, no, that's you. Let's look at it overall. Let's look at it overall. Women go for different types of men. And really in the real world, if you pay attention. Or you get a lot of guys in this sector saying, well, I have to look like Chad to get a woman. But in the real world, not on media, because of course they're going to show that on media. They're trying to make money. They're going to have the best actors. They're going to fix them up and everything. But in the real world, yeah, women like a man who's handsome to them, but that man might not look like Chad. That might not look like Chad. Or something else in the media, depending on the movie, the show, whatever, they'll say, well, you got to do this, you have to do that. Like, it hits women too. It definitely hits women. Shoot, you got women. I remember I met a woman. This was years ago, and this when I first saw this. She was dealing with a guy. This guy, she was basically a booty call to him. And I pretty much told her that. But she wanted that Disney relationship. She was insistent upon it. She wanted that happy Disney relationship. And I was like, that's not the reality. Like, you have a lot of women thinking they could get some like six-figure guy, some millionaire guy, regardless of what they're presenting, regardless of the age, how many children they got, regardless of their personality. But that goes back to that whole Disney thing. And yeah, I'm gonna call out Disney. I mean, it's in general, not just the company itself, but just the whole media images. If you remember that movie, books and movies, 50 Shades of Grey, that sold so well. Many people who read that book said it was a poor writing. Writers, I know writers who read it say, nah, this was poor writing. But I said it sold because what image did it present? A plain Jane woman, plain Jane awkward woman, getting with some handsome billionaire who had all the traits. I mean, it was like had written. And ironically, the writer of that book, she said she based it on her husband. That dude wasn't a billionaire. He looked like a regular dude. But so many people get caught up, especially women. In fact, a lot of guys, because they don't match a media image, they could have trouble with certain women. I refer to the women as little girls. And I have no problems doing that. Because they in that fantasy instead of dealing with the reality of what they're dealing with. Like I said, women are worse with it than men, but you have many men getting caught up in those fantasies too. You know? You got many men caught up in those fantasies. Like one of the biggest ones, if you look at it, like, okay, I talk about body game, being in your best shape. How many TV shows and movies have some like out of shape dude with a fine woman? Think about it. Just constant. Shoot, started with the Flintstones. You know, they both got these like, the attractive wives and stuff. One's a big old dude, one's short and dumpy, but got those domestic goddesses. I'm serious. Pay attention to the propaganda. And, people will think, oh, this is how it is. You got some people thinking, oh, you don't have to do anything. And it's just constant. But it's influencing people's behavior and what they think is possible, Instead of dealing with, a lot of people don't deal with reality. That's why I always say deal with reality. And indeed, that's extended to social media images. People will see some TikTok or something. A lot of guys will see some women going crazy over some guy on TikTok. And I was like, well, let's see what she'll do if they out in public. Or actually go on a date with a guy. She might not like him, But here's the thing. You got to understand media that's made up. Those are actors. Situations. Those are actors. Only take it so much. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, you can look at it. Now, if they present some stories or something that touches on real life, okay. But the images, though, that's the important thing to take in consideration. And it has a big influence. And I would say this, every single time you see an image on TV, movies, social media, send a critical thought with it. As it's going into your subconscious, send a critical thought, like question it, just question it. It could be just a mild question, but you're not taking it as gospel, as the reality, no matter what. Even in some situations where they may show some people getting together or, either a man meeting a woman or even fight sometimes. A lot of that is staged. And people getting influenced by that, thinking like you got some guys, they doing videos, them picking up women in the streets. First of all, there can be legal issues if you're filming somebody without their consent. They have to consent to it legally. So when you see stuff like that, a lot of times those are actresses. I'm just going to put that out there. You got to consent to it. You can't just be some casual. Even if it's just verbal consent, you got to say, okay, I'm good with this. Because otherwise you can technically sue. Somebody film you. In fact, I remember somebody tried to hit me up. They tried to put a strike on me and supposedly, I got a warning from YouTube because they said, somebody said their image was in the background of one of my videos. And it was a troll thing, and I let YouTube know because it was a video. It was one of my Sunday videos where the only thing behind me was a bookcase. And I said, okay, please explain to me what image that you saw. And YouTube never got back with me. I don't mind saying that either. But technically, if someone was in the background or something, they could say something. So I want y'all to think about that. But keep in mind, the media makes up stuff. It presents stuff. Even news programs, they only present certain angles, certain perspectives. And the reality may be totally different. They present one side of a story, or they present it in a certain manner. Trust me, marketers, advertisers, psychologists, intelligence agencies know this, all right? So pay attention, be very critical of media images, okay? Be very critical, because you don't see the whole picture, you know? Even YouTube videos sometimes. Y'all see me, you know, got the watch, you know, bands, nice shirt. I'm in pajama bottoms. So that's the thing. You got to see the whole picture, all right? You know, images. Always have a critical of them, okay? So, anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.